Ladies and gentlemen, whether you watch my videos every day or you just decided to click on a video recommended to you in the YouTube algorithm today for the first time, welcome to the world of chess. We're all in this journey together on the 64 squares, right? Practicing our openings, our middle games, our end games, doing game review, making terrible blunders, improving at tactics, getting worse at tactics, etc., etc. But the real question we have to ask ourselves is why? Why are we doing all that? Do you really want to know everything about this game? Because trust me, your games are going to be significantly less entertaining. And that is why I am making this video. Today, we are going to analyze a game between two 700 rated players. One of them is a subscriber of Gotham, Mr. Ja from the United States, rated 776. And his opponent for this game, this was a rapid game, is Mr. Singh. I removed the full name from the chess.com username from India. And, you know, I'm positively stereotyping here, putting a little photo of biryani. But who doesn't love biryani? So this game was absolutely catastrophic. And I'm wearing black today because I feel like I'm attending a chess funeral. This game is incredible. All right, let's learn, let's laugh, let's cry. E4, D5. E takes D5, queen takes D5. We have a Scandinavian defense. So far, no tears are necessary. This is actually a very formidable defense with the black pieces. And Mr. Jav plays the move knight to F3. This is a good move. Normally what people do here in the Scandinavian is they play knight C3. This is known as the main line because it's a very natural move. It attacks the queen and forces it to go somewhere, either to the edge of the board, one square back, or all the way back to D8, or I don't know, whatever the heck a 700 might play, which is queen E5 check. It's the main line. However, I personally, in my E4 course, recommend the move knight F3 with the intention to play D4, C4, and then knight C3. I like putting two pawns in the center because the traditional main line blocks the C pawn. It's just a matter of taste. It's just a matter of taste. So knight F3, and here already we begin the entertainment because Mr. Singh plays queen A5 anyway. Now you see, folks, you don't need to move the queen in the Scandinavian defense if the queen's not under attack. This is like those individuals that play the London system with white and against the England gambit play bishop f4 anyway and lose their bishop. It's just, you know, this is why you don't pre-move your opening, because the point of queen a5 is you move out of the way when you get attacked. You don't do it here. That doesn't make any sense. In fact, the queen will most likely just be a target anyway. Okay. White obviously should play actively, you know, but white sticks to his opening. He plays bishop e2. This is what I recommend in my course, so you can't really fault Mr. Jav, for, you know, for playing bishop e2. It's what I recommend. Now, black in the Scandinavian, and almost in all openings, you should develop your knights before your bishops. Why? Because you know where the knights are going to go. You know this knight has to go to f6, right? I mean, it just has to go to f6. It's not going to go to h6, but you don't know where this bishop is going to go. Will it go to f5 or g4? You don't know if this bishop will go to c5, right? Or d6. The knights go to the middle, which is why, you know, I personally think you should develop your knights before your bishops. But okay, black plays a center pawn move. White castles. I love the way white is handling this position. So far, so good. Absolutely perfect stuff. Black plays the move bishop f5. Now, I hate this, and white is now completely winning. Again, I hate this because your center is just not stable. Your center should not be held together by a queen on the opposite side of the board. Right now, the best move for white, given that you have castled and the enemy king is still in the middle and will be there for some moves, is to try to smash open the center with a move like d4. This is definitely the best move because it forces a response by black. Black can take, allowing an opening of the e-file. Bishop will be a target, and if black goes here, you drive the knight into the middle. You maybe come back and attack the queen, right? So you just get more space, your bishop comes out, etc. Now, do I hate white's next move? Absolutely not. Rook e1, this is a very nice idea, looking to target that central pawn on e5, and black defends with bishop d6. Once again, you should shred the position open with d4, but white plays nice and solidly, a little bit more passively with the move d3, ready to finish development. Now, from this point forward, absolute chaos breaks out. Okay, so I'm going to sit up in my chair, and we are going to have an absolutely, let me crack my back, we're going to have an absolutely fantastic video. I hope you're still here. I hope your attention span isn't short enough that you only last 4 minutes. There's, you know, you're going to need that skill for other things in life. So here, what black should do is, without question, finish, develop, and castle. Black here goes full ooga booga mode. Okay, full caveman mode, and is like, ooh, me attack rook. And that's generally how it's like at the 700 level. You know, you do kind of normal stuff for about 7 moves, and then ooga booga kicks in. Ooga booga is low Elo Chess brain, where you just go, oh, well, what a stupid opponent I have, allowing this attack on the rook. Folks, you should not attack things very simply in the first 10 moves of the game, especially when you can be parried, not just blocked. This would be one way to stop this, but a counter-attack to prevent your attack is even worse because you're just improving your opponent's position, right? Bishop d6 was great. You already developed your bishop. Develop other pieces. So now, after c3 and the bishop going back, it's +6. It's +6 for two reasons. Number one, white can just simply win a piece. Clean fork. And I don't even know how you don't play this with white. This wasn't played in the game. You see d4 was played in the game. Like, just follow that's an easy fork. Easy fork, pick up the bishop, you're in good shape. The other reason this is winning for white is now this is just hanging. So the center opens, and again, this is still a threat. I mean, it's really unpleasant position. But okay, white plays d4. I just talked about how good this move is. It obviously can't be bad. Now, pawn takes d4. And for those of you who see that correctly on the left side of your screen, that says M2. M2 is not a, not like MI6 or whatever, not a criminal or defense organization. It's not a car. That's mate in 2 moves. There is mate on the board. It took black 9 moves to get mated. Congrats, incredible stuff. That's what happens when you move your bishop 3 times out of your first 8 moves, and then you repeat moves with the pawn. Like, black hasn't done anything for themselves. The reason why this is game over is because here, white has a double check. White can play the move bishop to b5. And it's the Paul Morphy checkmate. If you don't know the Paul Morphy game, opera game, you got to go look at it. This is exactly how it ended. Whichever direction the king goes, the rook comes down, and it's mate. Double check is the most powerful tactic in chess, because both things attack the king. The king must move. It's hit from 2 directions. Bishop b5 check ends the game on the spot, but this is a 700 elo game. Of course that doesn't happen. What do you think? It's going to be a 6-minute video? Come on. No chance. So knight takes d4 is played, and now black is like, oh, my bishop is hanging. Okay, well, obviously a normal person moves the bishop out of the way, but I'm actually going to go take this knight for absolutely 0 reason, and white here has mate again. It's bishop b5, rook e8. Now, if white didn't see it once, you really think white is going to see it again? But the next move will actually shock you, because rook takes b1 was not played, but bishop d3 check was. So white did see this, but was like, oh, I'm so fancy. Look at me. I'm not going to take back the bishop. I'm going to take the bishop back with my bishop. I'm so cool. Really? Here's the worst part about this. Had you taken with the rook, imagine the person playing with black was like, oh, free pawn. Well, now you have mate again, but let's say you don't see it. You can discover check and win the queen. That's how you set traps in chess, right? That you're like, you see this little opportunity coming. But okay, this is 700 elo chess. This is just the beginning of our problems. Black has castled. Now, the position is +6 anyway, because again, white has the move b4. But if white doesn't see that, it's a kind of an abstract advantage. It's a really big advantage because the bishop's there this way and there's an attack brewing with these, queen, bishop, bishop. But other than that, it's not that easy. And white does find a way here to attack these pieces, but with the knight. White sees this backward knight rotation, and that's not really the way for white to get an advantage. In general, you should look for maximum danger in every position. So look for how you can put your opponent's most powerful pieces under attack with the least amount of value for yourself. So for example, this is a check, but it loses a bishop, but this attacks the queen. So does this, but one is worth less, right? So white decides to trade knight for bishop, and now white is no longer +6, white is now +2. White still has a massive advantage here, not because white is going to be winning any sort of material, but because the bishops are far superior to the knights, and white just has extreme activity. Like, white stares down the entire board. These knights can barely see anything on their side of the board. But yeah, white's extremely active. But it's not easy to figure out what to do here. I love white's next move. This is a great move. Developing a bishop with a tempo on the queen. The queen goes back. And now I would like to see white centralize the bishop this way. Maybe get in a queen h5, for example. Force black to make a weakness. Play queen up or queen, look on the dark squares, something like this. White kind of does that. Queen g4 is not a bad move at all. Black plays knight a6. And now white gets impatient. Again, maximum danger here. Bishop e4 is an excellent move. Attacking the queen, that is a very important option for white, and then bringing the rooks. But white gets impatient after queen g4, looks at this, gets tunnel vision, and is now losing the game. That is how you know this is like a YouTube-worthy video, because bishop h6, right? I mean, Like, of course, you see this and very elementary, and you completely forget the fact that black doesn't have to protect this at all, and instead, black will just rotate the queen over and take your bishop, and now white is losing. Now, at this point, you know, I can't imagine how white is feeling. By the way, this bishop, can I just say, is just in such a bad position. Like, it should be here. But because a while ago you thought you were really fancy winning back this knight back with this bishop back with your bishop, now you have problems. Now, here, it's completely losing, but white decides to die on his sword and lose the game immediately. It is now checkmate for black. Yes, you are reading that correctly. So basically, this is what happened. White played bishop h6, hung the bishop, and then went, oh, damn. Oh, but I can take this knight. I'm so smart. Oh, thank God I didn't lose the game there because I lost the bishop and I got a knight. That's a fair trade. Now it's queen down to c1 mate. You can win this game with black by accident. Let's just say you're just really, you have a fetish for checks. Anytime you see a check, you have to do it. Queen c1 is just game over. The queen blocks, the rook blocks, it's back rank mate. Because you put this stupid bishop here. If this bishop was out here like a normal bishop, then this rook would be protecting the back rank. You deserve to lose like this. Black offers a trade of rooks. Black does not see it. However, it's still winning for black. It's winning for black because this is still a threat. White takes the rook. This is still there. This is still on the board and black doesn't see it. Oh my God. Now, hilarious moment here. The best move for white is to move the bishop out to protect the back rank with the rook. But white can't tell the difference between moving the bishop out and just making a little fort for the king, right? Can't tell the difference. What are you gonna do? Well, there is a big difference. The big difference is that after queen c1 and queen b2, your rook is completely trapped. Completely trapped. The only reason it's not immediately game over is because white has queen d1, which no 700 in history will play, defending the rook with the threat of a check and winning the queen. No 700 plays that. If a 700 plays queen d1, you report them for cheating, they're banned hours later. Or they're allowed to play for another 6 months, because you never know the anti-cheat process of any of these major chess websites. But anyway, yeah, you should move the bishop. White absolutely doesn't do that. Now there is 2 back rank possibilities, and black plays the move queen c6. Now, queen c6 on its own looks incredibly stupid, but when I explain the idea to it, it actually makes sense. Basically, black was like, oh, dang, I had a back ranker, but now he's trying to escape. So I'm going to go here and cut this off. It actually makes sense. It actually makes sense. But again, at this level, you're just obsessed with these one-move attacks. So you're just kind of like, all right, well, queen c6, you know, I'm going to go rook e1. Is white just going to let you do it? No, of course not. White's going to go bishop d3. Now it's game on. Now it is absolutely game on. The rook protects the back rank. Okay, great. Knight c5. I would just move my bishop maybe back here, maybe slide back to c2 to kind of be able to attack this. Very complex, equal endgame. But it only took white one move to go back to being an absolute bozo, as white played the move bishop d3, protecting the back rank, and now rook d1. Rook d1 is a complete illusion of protection. Now, your rook cannot guard up and across at the same time. It just doesn't have that ability. Like, if 2 people are attacking you from front and back, you can't, there's no way, right? You're not gonna do it. You can't, someone's gonna hit you, all right? Someone's gonna hit you, I'm sorry. So, the rook is brought to the defense of the bishop, but that doesn't defend the bishop at all because the rook was supposed to be protecting the back rank, for God's sake. What is the logic here? What is the logic? And black plays rook e3. You couldn't pay me $1 million to guess black's next move. Black has a rook staring here and a knight attacking the bishop and just doesn't take. You understand? You could win this game by mistake with black. If we just play a move in chess and you're like, oh wow, I won. I had no idea. Just take the damn bishop. It's not that complicated. But he plays rook e3. This is not a mouse slip. This is not a mouse slip. Every one of these squares was protected. Black just completely forgets that their rook can be taken. And so does white. White doesn't just play pawn takes rook. White seems to think this is back rank mate, forgetting that the same rook can just go back. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You just cannot make this stuff up. Why can a rook that goes up and down not go back? I just do not understand. Just take the rook I beg you, just take the rook. No. Now queen back to h3, and once again, knight takes d3 is winning. But black here responds to the threat. Black goes, oh my god. My h7, I mean, I can't let my king get it. Well, I gotta go g6. Incredible. Incredible. g6. Now, white here goes, oh my, I have been blundering for several moves. I just realized there is knight takes bishop, rook here, and rook e1. Wow, well that's really bad. So I better protect rook e1 by hanging mate in one move. It's mate in one. White goes to protect the e1 square and hangs queen h1 mate. The craziest thing is about 10 moves ago, black played the move queen c6, intending to cut this off. There are only 3 pieces on the black side of the board that have any capabilities whatsoever. And this is mate, and black plays this. Black plays a move on the same diagonal as checkmate. I will never, for the life of me, understand how the brains work sometimes. White insists on getting checkmated again. White plays the move g4. If you gave me, once again, $1 million to explain this move, I would not be able to do it. Actually, I might have just earned $1 million. These two attack this, so this protects it. Of course, it also hangs mate. So now black has, for the second time in a row, an opportunity to checkmate, and black plays knight takes d3, and white plays rook takes d3. Now the queen is under attack, and for a third move in a row, or a fourth move in a row, it's mate in one. Aren't you glad you stayed for this game? We are 16 minutes into this game. This game, both sides can mate each other. Nobody wants to do it. Well, chess players failing to mate. I mean, what else is new? I'm in the minority on that one. Queen takes a2. You travel in the opposite direction. You literally have 2 paths. One is checkmate in one, and one is winning a pawn, and you go to win the pawn. I mean, this is just incredible stuff. Now, this endgame is actually still very complicated because, what was that? Because both sides have pretty weak kings, so at some point you can create an attack. So b4, all right? That's about the most logical move that white has played in about 20 turns. Queen b1 check does not win the rook because the rook's actually protected. Queen b1, king goes out to g2, queen e1. Okay, white plays rook e3. Now, when you are down in a pawn endgame, you don't trade the pieces. You don't do this. You don't trade your What are you doing? Folks, it's simple math. You have 6 pawns versus 5. You lose. You just lose these endgames. If you don't know anything about king and pawn endgames, just watch a video. I've got some pawn endgame videos. King comes to the middle, 3 on 2. Do the math. 1 pawn will make a queen. You go like this, and that's it. You just make an outside pass pawn. When you are in a position where you are down pawns, don't trade the pieces. Use your queen and rook together. Okay, black doesn't go for the queen trade. It's now a draw by perpetual check, most likely. White plays f4. White doesn't want to lose, draw, win. I don't even know what white wants. Queen b2, king f3. Again, you have the option to go here to protect your pawn. No, we're going to lose our h2 pawn. Now, it is a draw. It is a draw with queen e8 check, queen e5. That is never in a million years happening. So queen takes a7, queen h3 check, and black very intelligently, look at that, very nice, crawls in and takes 2 pawns. Now black is winning again. Black is winning again because the king actually is safe, and there's just a pass pawn. I mean, the point is that white's king, a king like this in a queen endgame should not be in the middle of the board. King should not be in the middle of the board. King also should avoid the same diagonal as the queen because there are ways to x-ray that king to the same queen. Right now, you're not going to win the king and the queen. You don't have any way to do it. Avoid the same diagonal and avoid the middle. Try to hide the king. So queen takes b7, and with that, we have the king and queen on the same diagonal, and all black has to do is find 1 check. Black has a few checks in this position, honestly. It's a little tricky, but anytime you see a king and a queen like this, there's an opportunity. f5. Now, somehow, despite being a pawn down, white is winning. White is winning now because the king is actually going to get to f6. And now, there is one and only one move to prevent mate. There are no more checks. So you always need to look for checks in queen endgames. Make sure that you are not in a situation where you don't have any checks. Back rank mate is threatened, so black clutch move survives the threat and goes queen e8. Now, white here should take the next pawn, which shouldn't be that difficult considering white has just taken all the other pawns, right? So white should obviously take on c7. No, we had too much faith. All right, too much faith. Queen d5. I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't just go here. You're threatening queen g7 mate. You know, your queen goes out, your king comes out, pawns push, whatever. But no, queen d5 check, king h8. Now, white has a couple of continuations here. Finds queen e5. Queen e5 is a very interesting move, insisting on the queen trade so that you try to make a queen. Very interesting idea. Black plays queen c6 check. Queen c6 check very tragically blunders king f7 and its mate. The king is actually suffocated to death by the discovered attack of the white queen. But instead of that, white goes for a queen trade because white just is really into that. White just really wants a queen swap. And if black had traded now and pushed the h-pawn, the game is over. Because this pawn is a decoy for the white king. There's no way to prevent it from just hanging out here and pushing. The black king walks out, and this is basically how the game would be decided, right? Like this. Just h5, h4. There's nothing white can do. Black does not realize that. Plays queen takes c3 check. White plays queen e5, and the players repeat moves on the 42nd, 43rd move of the game with queen e6, queen c3, and make a draw. Just kidding. By the miracle of whatever chess gods exist, white accidentally snatches victory from the jaws of a draw, from the jaws of defeat, queen f6, queen takes f6 checkmate, and white wins this absolutely catastrophic game of chess.